Welcome to Off the Menu. Today we're going to Dripping Springs, a bustling little town just south of Austin. We're going to base our vacation around a cooking class at Onion Creek Kitchens, and we're going to stay at Juniper Hills Farm. We're going to explore the town of Dripping Springs, which has a lot to offer. So come with me on our edible exploration.
I'm ready for our edible exploration, and I'm ready to get out of the city for a break. I'm so looking forward to it.
Throw your bag in the back.
Okay.
Hey, let's go to Dripping Springs.
All right.
Staying at Juniper Hills Farm. They have a bed and breakfast there. Amanda and I will go get some wine. So I'm going to drop you off. You have plans for tonight, right?
Yes. Karen and Dana are meeting me at the lounge at the Deep Eddy Distillery.
Oh, fun. Oh, I've always wanted to go there.
Hey! Hey, Amanda!
Your room's down there.
Oh, okay, thanks.
Hey Monique, you finally made it. Did you find your room okay over there?
Yes, thank you so much. I love my room. Thank you.
Well, this is where you're going to come tomorrow for the class. So you just come over here a little bit early, and we're going to be setting up in here, and I'll be teaching the class. And in the mornings, we're going to bring you a little lunch box, kind of like one of these with some treats in it. So all you have to do is just kind of, you have to get dressed, just nightgown, open the door, get your lunch box. We're going to do a number of soups and a number of breads that can go together for 3 or 4 different meals.
Wonderful. I'm so excited.
Yeah, it'll be fun. We have kind of a long name. It's Onion Creek Kitchens at Juniper Hills Farm. Because when I first moved here, before I opened the business, we just called this place Juniper Hills Farm because it just kind of sounded romantic, like a farm up on a hill. And then when I decided to open the business with the kitchens, I thought, well, we're on Onion Creek. Onion Creek crosses the whole front of the property. So it sounded kind of nice to say Onion Creek Kitchens at Juniper Hills Farm.
I'm looking forward to it. So just a quick peek. Ooh, soups and breads. Wow, this kitchen seems to have everything. It's gonna be fun cooking here. So just a quick peek, but now I'm off to Deep Eddy. I've gotten settled in my room here on the farm. I've met Sibby, unpacked. Now it's time to go out on the town. Better get ready.
So I'm so glad we can meet up this weekend in Dripping Springs.
And what class are you taking?
I'm going to go to Pure Luck Goat Farms, and I'm going to make goat cheese.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Sounds yummy. I love goat cheese.
And how about your cooking class? What's that all about?
I'm going to go to Onion Creek Kitchens, and we're going to make soup and bread. I'm so excited.
Tasty. Tasty weekend. Woo! 4 points. You.
Time slips by so easily, and all of a sudden you realize you haven't seen your friends for months or even years. So it was really great to have the opportunity to reconnect with friends. I've known Karen for such a long time. It was really great to reconnect. And Dana's a new friend. It was fun to sit together, enjoying a cocktail, trading stories, sharing laughter, and just enjoying the moment and making new memories. Loving this very Texan touch. My breakfast was delivered in an old lunch pail, just like the ones kids used to take to school. Okay, I'm off to cooking class.
I'm just going to hang out here.
Okay.
Make me something delicious.
You got it.
I'm so glad you're here. Come on in.
Thank you.
You ready to cook some soup?
Yes, I'm
All right.
so ready.
Classes are always so interesting because the mix of people is always different. You know, sometimes it's a bunch of people who've been here before, and sometimes it's all new people. Maybe at the beginning they're kind of all shy, but by the end of the class, everybody's exchanging numbers and being really friendly.
We're making a roasted
Right
red
there.
feta and basil skillet scone. We're pretty excited.
A lot of our guests at the beginning came from Dallas because I'm from Dallas and because my bakery's from Dallas. But now it's sort of maybe, I don't know, 50% Austin, 40% Dallas, and then the rest is sort of far-flung. You know, we have people coming from all over to come to classes. So it's a pretty good balance. And there's also a really great opportunity for people who don't get a chance to see each other very often. They'll meet here, and like a bunch of sisters or a mom and a daughter, and like we had the 5 girls that were all here together. They were all like some relatives and some friends. They all came to yoga this morning, which was really cool.
That's great.
So it's a nice like get together for girls' weekend out or something like that. So it's fun.
It's wonderful.
How did you make that shift from bakery to cooking school and B&B and?
I started out working at a flower shop, and I did that for many, many years. So while I had the flower shop, I did party planning, and I did cake baking for restaurants in Dallas. And when I came here, I wanted something that allowed me to do what I enjoy about food, but not the retail end of it. And this allowed me to do what I really love to do about food, is like actually cooking. This allows me to be able to actually like do what I do with my friends, cook with friends, cook with people, cook and enjoy it for the fun of cooking. And of course I get to eat a lot too, which is, So many different kinds of people come to class, and they may not think they have anything in common when they get here. You know, some are single, some are married, some are younger, some are older, and they come and they're not talking to each other at first, but by the end of it, you know, we all have that thing in common where you have those food memories and you talk about, oh, my grandmother used to make cornbread like this, or oh, when we made chicken noodle soup, it was always like that. And so you bond over that, you know, over food. I've collected antique silverware for a really long time, and when I moved into this space, it was an opportunity to display it. And I just was using it as art and a way to display my collection. But I've really loved being able to notice how people will go up and look at it and go, oh my God, there's Aunt Mary Lou's china, or their silver pattern. And then somebody else is like, my grandmother had that too. And you know, it's just there. It's all there for us. Thank you. It was a fun thing to put together, and it continues to be fun because, like the plates, you know, I can be out at you know, some market somewhere, and I can just buy one plate, you know, and I don't have to like break the bank. But I'm like, oh, this plate's going to be cool with all of our plates, and you bring it back, and it's so different. But you know, it's like everything goes with everything. You know, every day we mix and match, and it all goes together. It makes people kind of feel like they don't have to be designers, they don't have to be perfect. They can just be casual, and it works. But look how, you know, it looks elegant even with all of the mixing and matching. So
it really does. It's very elegant, and it does give people, I think, that freedom, that flexibility, and hopefully the courage to try it when they get home.
Yeah, people tell me that. They're like, oh, I go home and mix my china now. So
that's great.
Yeah.
Aww.
Anybody on Team Pretzel want to roll some pretzels out?
We're making pretzels, homemade pretzels from scratch. Well, who taught you to cook?
I'm really kind of a self-taught cook. My grandmother did a little bit of baking with me when I was younger. She was, I have to say, my grandmother was not really a very good cook at all. She's of that sort of Jell-O, Campbell's soup generation. A good cook she was not, but she was a good baker, and she had a real sweet tooth, and I got that sweet tooth from her. And I still have her mixer up there on that top shelf, where I remember like seeing the words, you know, mix and whip, and learning before I could really spell or write. It was like, oh, that word means blend or whip or mix or whatever. I really developed my sweet tooth by baking with her. We were all assigned something. If my sister were here, she would tell you that it's really rotten that I got assigned to cook and she got assigned to like dust and clean the toilets. So here I am. But it was, you know, I was just thrown into it being about 7 or 8 years old. That was my job. And I went into it whole hog. But you know, the older I get and the more I read books, I just finished reading a really interesting book from a really interesting chef. And as I was reading through it, I learned a ton of stuff, but I was also like, that's the way I do it. How did I know that? That's really just cool. Intuitive. You figure it out. And that's what I tell these guys that come in here. It's like, you don't need to be professionally trained. You know, use your instincts, use your intuition, and usually you're right. Taste it. Does it need more salt or not?
That's great advice. Well, I'm Hispanic.
Where did you grow up?
Yeah, Corpus Christi. So, you know, making tamales. My mom is one of 14. So she has a lot of sisters, and so everybody would come. And they would bake tamales. So I remember I didn't help. I guess I took care of the kids, and
right.
you push down the hojas. Well, I remember my uncle cleaning the deer in the backyard, and that was all part of that process, and mixing the meat, and making the dough, and spreading it on the hojas. So I helped a little bit, but not like I have some cousins that really, they were real hard workers at that. So I remember that, and I remember my other grandmother more often made menudo. We made buñuelos, and so a lot of big family cooking are my memories.
Do you grow any of your food here on the farm?
I had aspirations of having a garden, so I just quickly figured out that I actually have some really nice neighbors who work really hard to grow their vegetables, and why shouldn't I pay them and buy at the farmer's market, buy from their farms and help support them and not kill myself to try and grow a carrot, that is really ugly. So I learned really quickly to stick to herbs. We do all of our own herbs here, which is really nice.
What would you say that every home cook needs?
You really should not ever not have vinegar, balsamic vinegar, lemon juice. You got to have those tools. As far as tools are concerned, the most important thing is having a really, really good knife. It's something you're probably going to have, for the rest of your life. So spend some money and get something really, really good.
I always like to take something with me, personalized from the place that I've been to, so I'm going to look around. This looks perfect. It's a lavender shirt. It looks wonderful. I think I'll take this.
This was a really nice mix, being able to do soup and bread, because that is mixing sort of the, you know, the cooking side of it and the baker side of it, which the two don't usually meet.
Right,
You're either a really good baker because you measure everything, or you throw things in. With soup, like, you don't, there's no recipe for soup.
Which makes you a great cook.
Exactly.
Wow, that's
So Dana, let's talk about the cheese class now that we've done it. That was a lot of fun.
It was. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it more than I thought.
I did too, and the people there were so interesting too. I enjoyed hearing everyone's story.
Same here. We met a lot of nice people.
And we all had that common interest, wanting to make this wonderful cheese, which doesn't taste good yet. Cheese class. I'm so excited. Let's talk about the process of making cheese.
When we arrived at the farm, we were introduced to Amelia, the farm owner.
Owner and cheesemaker at Pure Luck Farm.
And she introduced us to the rest of our class.
We had a nice coffee, tea, and pastries.
You'll drop it in, stir for about 20 minutes, 20 seconds.
Amelia brought in some warm goat milk. She had warmed it to the precise temperature. We all had our own containers, and we added this warm milk to the containers, and we began our cheese making process. And we added culture. We added a rennet, which helps coagulate or thickens the milk into the cheese.
And the rennet usually is an animal product, but this time we used a vegetable rennet, so it's really a cheese that a vegetarian could eat.
Correct.
And then that's when we stirred it. You have to stir it for quite a long time to thicken it up.
Yeah, the stirring process was lengthy, nothing difficult, but it was very well worth it to see the cheese start to make.
Maybe someone who's read some cheese making books has heard about the clean break test, where you stick your finger in to the cheese and you lift it up, and when that dome opens up, there's like really clean curd fry. Oh, it's a perfect clean break. That's one technique people use to assess the curd. I prefer this one, which is similar in that it's cutting with a spatula and then coming under it again and lifting it. And now I'm looking at those two cleaves. I'm going to cut to see what it looked like before it was ready. Ooh, that's beautiful. So I can see that they are floppier. So I'll cut like this across, and then start like this.
Then we cut it into cubes to let the whey out.
She had given us a knife to, and instructed us to slice the cheese in 3/4, half-inch slices, and that was to make the curds. And so eventually, we would lift that, and it would develop into curds.
Instructions say to stir every 10 minutes or so. We may do it a little differently. The first thing we're doing is moving them away from each other, loosening them so we can stir. What I want to avoid is further cutting them with my spatula, because the whole healing process, it's called healing the curd, what you just did for 10 minutes or so, is firming up the outside so that we go in and stir, we're not losing the fat from inside the curd. And that's how we lose the fat, is through mistreatment. If you lift your spoon out and lift the curds up, gravity will break them. So
And gravity's okay to break them, or
we don't want to break
wanna
them.
break
We want to try not to make any new nicks in them.
And so there's a lot of stirring, a lot of waiting, a lot of getting to know your fellow classmates, who are all very interesting, I thought.
Very interesting. We had one classmate that had 30 goats at home. People from all over. After we were able to lift and see the curds, and the whey had separated, we poured the whey off, had just the cheese curds, and we poured them into a filter or a strainer. And we allowed them time to sit and drain, so all the whey would drain off, and the curds eventually weighted down and pressed into cheese.
So we say, all else being equal, size of the curd is how dry your cheese is, if everything else was the same. Should we go to the farm?
Yes.
Okay.
And then, lucky us, we got to go out on the farm afterwards and play with the goats for a little bit.
Oh, I think everybody was waiting for that. We stayed in for the cheese making, and then we got to venture out in our rubber boots to see the goats, meet the goats that had given us our milk. And Amelia knew most all of them by name or number, and they were friendly.
And Amelia knows so much. I mean, she really knows the science of the whole process. She knows her goats intimately, each and every one of them, and she just knows each process and all about the chemistry. And
she just knows so much, and it was a joy to be around her and to learn from her. And like I said earlier, I wouldn't mind taking the class again, just to catch what I may have missed.
I would love to take the class again. I think it was so interesting, and I probably would learn more the second time.
I really was impressed at how clean the barn was, and she went into how much food they ate, how the cost of having 60 goats plus. Amazing, really amazing. I didn't personally milk a goat, but we had the opportunity. And so a few of the students stepped up and milked a goat. We tasted the fresh goat milk right out of the goat teat.
There's still some more of a process that you have to do after the class.
It's a 3-day process, so she instructed us on what to do with our cheese when we got it home, and you ended up having to flip the cheese several times, and it would get firmer and firmer until you had a nice packed feta cheese ball. And you add salt to your preference.
And the salt helps dry it out. And it also is part of why feta is salty, because it cures in the brine or something.
Well, I didn't catch that.
Oh, really?
It's something I missed. I just saw, know that to salt it, and I didn't really hear why. But I'm sure I missed a lot. So maybe I'll have to take the class again.
Thanks, Amelia. Thank you. Bye. Oh, I will. Cheese, yum.
So how'd that go for you? What'd you feel like? How'd it go?
You know, I had a great time. It was really great to get to meet lots of different people, and we got to chat. There were some families and some couples here, so we had a really good time. It was fun.
So how did it feel like cooking in a kitchen where you weren't kind of familiar with everything? It was kind of crazy at first,
It
right?
was challenging, yes, at first to find everything, but, feel like orientation went well and just had a great time.
Have you written any cookbooks?
No, I've worked on. I have lots and lots and lots of food thoughts that I've written down and recipes and so forth. And I've put together outlines for cookbooks before, but I've not ever found somebody who's really interested to take them. But that's probably something I would really, really like to do in the next few years, is write, and not just cookbooks, but writing about food and food experiences. They're two different things. Yeah, I would love to do that. And my major in college was journalism, so I love to write. Yeah.
Well, ladies, cheers to
Cheers.
cooking.
It's lovely to have you here.
Thank you
Come
so
again.
much. We will. Thank you.
enjoyed the dinner that you brought me from your class last night. It was yummy. Thank you for remembering me.
Of course.
And when are you going to let me try some of that feta cheese you made?
Well, it's not quite ready just yet. I actually have to turn it, salt it, soak it in some brine, let it age a little bit. But after that, I'd be happy to bring you some.
So this weekend I cooked. Ellen made cheese. Amanda, what did you do?
I came here to relax, and that's exactly what I did. I had such a nice time just chilling and reading my novel, drinking some wine, enjoying the beautiful sunsets. I enjoyed my little country vacation. But you two have convinced me. I do need to come back and take my own cooking vacation sometime.
Oh, let me know when. I'll come back.
Yeah, me too. Let me know. I had so much fun exploring Dripping Springs.
It's such a cute little town.
Yeah. But actually, you know what? I did notice that Sibby has a class coming up on cooking with lavender.
Ooh.
Right?
Yeah.
I'd come back for that.
Excellent.
Why don't we get together soon and plan our next vacation?
Yay.
Sounds good.
All right.
Cheers.
Well, this edible exploration of Dripping Springs has come to an end, but I'm so happy that you were able to join us. I hope you can come back again next time when we go on a new culinary adventure. You can follow us on social media to find out where we'll be next and to find some help in planning your next cooking vacation. We are Off the Menu TV. I'm your host, Ellen Elmore.